Everybody, welcome back to Wiki Sports. This is At the Buzzer, and we're joined as always by Jack. Jack, how you doing?
I'm good, Brian. Thanks.
And Ryan. Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Brian. Thank you.
All right. So Celtics have been hot, coming off a 41-point win over the Bucks, and then a little bit more modest win, but they didn't have full strength against the Jazz. The season is winding down. I'll go to you first, Ryan. What do you think of that Bucks win? And do you think it shut up a lot of the people who are doubting the Celtics here?
Well, I think it definitely points to more than anything how consistently inconsistent the Celtics are, right, and how high their ceiling is. Yeah, to me, it's just how unpredictable this team is, right? And right when you kind of start to discredit them a little bit, they just throw you a complete curveball and remind you, why they've consistently been, if not the best, one of the best throughout the year continually. And I think it also just reiterates that the Celtics kind of have the Bucks number. I mean, we really have frustrated the Bucks this year. Every game we played against them, even think to the last one where I think what was it, Brown, Tatum, Williams, and Smart were out, and we still took them to overtime.
Yeah, right before the All-Star break, February 14th, 131 to 125 with the mostly backups. They got Derek White in the thumbnail for the highlights for the Celtics on that one. So yeah, you're totally right. The Celtics have been a thorn in the side of the Bucks, although the Bucks probably are gonna wrap up the 1 seed. I don't know, Jack. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, good question. I think the 1 seed is probably locked down. I mean, I was just looking at the schedules as we talked about right now. So the Celtics would probably have to win out if they want any shot. Actually, they would have to win out. I take that back. And the Bucks would have to lose out, I think, technically. So I think no, I don't think there's a shot. Celtics. I mean, if you want to be technical about it, we're playing the Sixers tonight, which even Joel Embiid says that we're going to clap them probably. 2 games against the Raptors and then a game against the Hawks. I think the Raptors have basically folded the season at this point because Nick Nurse has no idea which way is up right now, and he's not sure if he's going to come back next year, all that stuff. So I think that might be, I don't want to say auto dubs, but the Raptors also have been a tough matchup for us in the past, so I don't want to say for sure.
Yeah, and when it would have to determine, and you just can't count on the as much as right. I've just said the Celtics team is so good, you can't really count on them to be consistent for 4 games in the regular season. You just can't. And I mean, I just feel like the Raptors kind of enabled the worst side of us because they are also, they're pretty reckless in a lot of ways. And it just turns into an ugly lot of turnovers and a lot of just what is happening with this much talent on the court?
Yes. You got Siakam, Van Vliet, all those guys are solid players. Pirtle, right? All those guys are solid players. And then you add our team, obviously, and it's dude, yeah, why is there a turnover after a turnover after a turnover going on right here? It's gross. But yeah, all that said, right? I don't think we have a shot at the 1 seed as much as I would like it, which I really would. I don't think seeding matters necessarily. I think we're going to run into the Bucks anyway. And even though we probably don't want to read too much into the slaughtering that was the last game against the Bucks, that is a nice statement piece of, hey, look, we're not afraid to come to your arena. We're not afraid to absolutely put you on a hurting, right? And then just take the win here. So I don't know if it's necessarily that integral. I think it's more of a mental, a statement game, if anything else, that we're look, we're not afraid of you, which I love. So I love that. With that, honestly, I think I'd almost rather have a game like that against the 1 seed than actually having the 1 seed ourselves, because now we're in their heads. Now we're going forward and we're listen, guys, we're not here to basically fuck around and find out, that's we're gonna do it. So I'm a fan of the way that the Celtics played. I hope they can do that. My only concern now is the 2 games against Toronto that we have, where Ryan, like you said, gets a little sketchy up there. We have 2 games in a row against them, build some bad habits up, and then right in time for the playoffs. So we'll have to see
those players, I was gonna say those players will play, even if all the Nick Nurse stuff, they're gonna get reckless. I still think they're gonna try to win. I mean, that team, they're hungry, right? From what I've seen, they look better with Pirtle. I mean, which makes sense. You just really upgraded your center position
by a lot.
By a lot. Yeah, exactly.
All right. So here's a stat I saw the other day. This is the first time since 2007 2008 season, of course, where the Celtics won the championship. The Celtics have defeated every team in the NBA. Ryan, does that do anything for you, or is that just kind of a useless stat?
That they've defeated every team in the NBA
Yes, this
In
season.
that season, yeah.
this season. Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Shout out Reddit for that stat, and also shout out Reddit if that's a wrong stat. But I'm pretty sure it's right. They're usually pretty trustworthy.
I just don't see that if this team. I will say I don't necessarily. Right, we've seen like the Knicks. We match up pretty horribly against. Me and Jack were talking about it. Randall's just really tough for any of our guys to guard consistently. And they have their guards are just super talented.
Yep. Yep.
But I was gonna say it kind of shows you that when the Celtics are locked in, the way they play, I mean they can beat anyone. It's not a matter of no play style is really gonna be their crux. Their greatest weakness is themselves. I would say, right? That's kind of what we've seen this year. The only ones who can beat the Celtics are the Celtics, to be honest with you.
Yes.
That's the way I feel about this team. So yeah, it just kind of reiterates what we've been talking about.
No, definitely. So I guess let's kind of look forward here. Obviously, there's the play-in games and all that stuff. The Celtics probably gonna wrap up the 2 seed. Probably not gonna get the 1 seed. That's fine. What team are you like most looking forward to playing in the playoffs? Like, if you had an ideal matchup, or like, are there any teams that potentially scare you for this first round, Jack?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I'm looking at the East right now, to be honest, and it's actually like it's nice to see that the East is actually like a competitive division compared to the West, where pretty much everything from like five
Oh, yeah.
down is just a cluster. Um, I've already used the F word once, so I'll refrain. It's a cluster something, but I think I mean, if I'm looking at all of these teams, the fact that I'm even considering like not wanting to play the Nets because we don't really know what they are is like absurd to me. But like if I'm looking at everyone, I think best case would probably be the Hawks or the Raptors, but that's the 8 and the 9 seed. So I'm like, okay, like I think for the most part it seems like the seeding down there is pretty much locked up, and it looks like we'll be playing the Heat, which I honestly, Ryan, you're right, we don't match up well against them, but if I had to like of the teams that I'd like to play, I guess it is towards the bottom. So give me either of those. Um, but it's I mean, the Heat and the Bulls will have a play-in game, um, and then the winner of that is likely who will end up playing. So if it's the Heat or the Bulls, I will survive. I'm okay with that. Teams I don't want to play, the Knicks, probably because of Randall and how much of a powerhouse he can be. Have to just hope we can wear him down, and I think he's kind of like I hate to say this, but like I think he's soft, kind of like mentally. So if we can kind of get in his head a little bit, maybe that'll help us out.
7 game series. Yeah, I know
7 games, yeah, 7 games could be like, okay, like we're like we know what you're doing here.
Nick Celtics in the Garden with, as you said, his kind of because we were kind of talking about with like Randall, he can very easily get frustrated when he feels underappreciated or misunderstood. That was kind of what
Yep.
was happening with the Knicks before they had Brunson. He was trying to initiate the offense on his own and kind of being this kind of player he wasn't. So yeah, I could see that. I agree though that the Knicks would definitely. That's the matchup I kind of don't want the most.
Same.
The
At least
Heat,
these early rounds, yeah.
the Hawks and Raptors. I mean, I don't know.
That should be a sweep.
That would be that. I would much prefer those two teams. I mean, that's a much easier matchup than the Heat. We should be able to beat the Heat. I mean, like I said, we know sometimes the Heat and the Celtics, you can kind of throw talent. Yeah, you can throw talent aside. It's going to be a close matchup. But I mean, if we beat them last year, we can do it this year.
Agreed. They were much better last year.
Yeah.
So we should be able to do it this year.
Hopefully, yeah. So we'll see. It's exciting times. Playoffs are right around the corner.
Oh yeah.
So anything else you guys wanted to touch on that we didn't get a chance to?
No, I think we're just probably. I think we're all excited about the last 4 games. It would be awesome if we get the 1 seed. I just don't think it's happening. So
yeah,
it would be cool to see that happen. Yeah. I think projected first round matchup, right, is either the Bulls or the Hawks. I think that should be an easy series, to be honest. But then after that, it's probably Philly or New
Cleveland.
York. I don't. Cleveland.
York.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. It gets sketchy after that. But I mean, the playoffs are the playoffs, right? Where you got to beat the best to be the best. So
Yeah, and the mantra last year was that the Celtics don't dodge anybody, so hopefully
right.
they'll have the same mindset coming into this
Yep.
one.
I think especially so after that Bucks game for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan, any last words? Anything you want to talk about?
No, just that I noticed you said, Jack, you had said that the Celtics, everyone thinks but the Celtics are actually the underdog tonight.
Are they?
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
Wonder
if you're
why.
this probably won't come out before the game
J-
tonight, but I was gonna say bet on the Celtics if you're feeling
I might, even though I feel like I always say I don't, and then randomly I'll just be like to you guys every few months or so. Hey, I don't know why I bet on the Celtics.
Yeah, then they lose and we're like, damn it. Yeah, exactly.
I might though tonight. That's just like for plus 115. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
And yeah, the fact that they're I think it's the same spread I think it might have been plus 1.5 even against the Bucks, but it was probably plus 2.5. But it's plus 2.5 Celtics. So
Still, that's crazy.
yeah. So we'll see. You know, everyone watching in the future, let us know how those bets turned out.
Brown's questionable though, or he was last time I looked.
Oh, so then yeah.
All right. Well, other than that, guys, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Brian.
And for more sports videos, subscribe to the channel. We have sports videos coming out almost every single day. We have our main channel, Wicked and Everything, and our podcast channel, Better Radio. Check those all out. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one.